Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is an English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Saturday morning at the residence of Hazrat Wala, Saturday the 24th of Muharram 1445, corresponding with the English date 12th of August 2023. Hazrat Wala is just commenting on some ash'ar or something that had been, or couplets that had been said in his praise after the recitation of the Quran, saying that he said this out of his good thoughts that he has. Allah Ta'ala make me according to that what he had described. And whoever is present here, Allah bless you all with his muhabbat and his nisbat. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to say, Hazrat Wala has in front of him the Maktubat e Masumiya. He says, the Khaja Muhammad Masoom was the illustrious son and from amongst the celebrated deputies and khalifas of Hazrat Mujaddid Al-Faithani. और जो काम मुजद्दिद साहब न कर सके, उनके साहबजादा ख्वाजा मोहम्मद मासूम ने पूरा किया. And whatever he was unable to complete, his son brought that to completion and fruition. हर मुजद्दिद के बाद कोई ऐसा आदमी पैदा होता है. After every mujaddid, Allah Ta'ala creates such a person who comes and then he completes all that had been left out and he brings it to a point of completion. He had 7,000 khalifas. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to say, जो Hazrat Tanvi से मिला तो मिला, मतलब वो सब कुछ, whatever I had, it was from my mentor Hazrat Tanvi, I achieved. लेकिन मकतूबात मासूमिया और मकतूबात रशीदिया से बहुत नफा हुआ. More or less, he's saying that I benefited tremendously from these two kitabs, the Maktubat of Khaja Muhammad Masoom and the Maktubat of Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad Sahab. You know, I even said to one of these seniors, traditioners, Muhaddith, that we are making so much of mehnat on the Zahir Kalam of Hadith, Lami Ud-Darari, Kawkab Ud-Durri, etc. What about the Maktubat Rashidiyya, which is speaking about the Batin Hadith? So, you have the Quran has Zahar and Batan, the external dimension and the internal dimension. For you to understand the external dimension of the Quran Majid, you would need the external commentary and explanation of the hadith. And to understand the batan of the Quran, the internal dimension of the Quran, you would need the internal explanation of the hadith. And that person will be able to make a tafsir of the batin of the Quran who has some connection with the batin and the internal. Similarly, that person will be able to make the tashrih and explanation of the batin, the internal dimension of the hadith, if he has some ta'alluq with the batin. There was a very, very big gathering. Many muhaddithin all gathered from all around the world. I was given some time to speak and I spoke on these aspects which I'm just mentioning to you now. Now, Hazrat Tanvi struck up his relationship with Hazrat Haji Sahab. But, however, Haji Sahib even told Hazrat Tanvi that you should make ruju to Maulana Rashid Ahmad. And we find that Asal Murshid, Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was a very, very great personality. Very great personality. So these kitabs, Maktubat-e-Masumiya and Maktubat-e-Rashidiya, are such kitabs that deserves that we make mutala and we read through it and we learn about it. In fact, by Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, he used to have the maktubat of these two personalities, Khaja Muhammad Masoom and Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad. Very rarely would you actually find him with some maktubat of Hazrat Tanvi. He used to actually make bayan from these two kitabs. And of course, at that time, he was Marja'ul Ulama. He became the center point and the source, fountainhead of all the ulama. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making qadr of our akabirin. Hazrat Maulana, Hazrat Wala reads some portions from the Maktubat-e-Masumiya, and then he even comments here and there. From amongst the things that Hazrat Wala touches on, he says that some people have even went to the extent of saying that sometimes, or it could be majority of the times, that people take more benefit from the maktubat in comparison to the malfuzat. Now, malfuzat is just the statements that were taken out from their bayanat or whenever they had uttered them randomly. But maktubat are those letters and correspondence or that they had. So when a person is speaking, there is that fear that some type of this or that contamination can come into his niyat, due to which the effects of it are withdrawn by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you would find in the maktubat, the person is alone, a letter comes in his writings, in his letters, you would find there is more khulus there. Nevertheless, I said to you, what I am saying to you, you people make dua for me that Allah Ta'ala gives me respite for some more time, that I can see to these children, to my children and awlad, and I can see to these kitabs, etc. You people are from the Kamilin, you also make dua for me. So Allah Ta'ala, he's reading there, Hazrat Wala, that has not created a person in futility or useless. Rather, for a certain maqsad. Allah did not just leave him free to do what he want. Rather, he made him paband and bound him to the awamir and the nawahi, the injunctions and the prohibitions. If you do it, you would become successful. And that's why Allah Ta'ala had created you. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. 7,000 khalifas. Those are the fortunate ones who get ready and who straighten themselves out, meaning they are absolutely ready. They fasten their backs, meaning straighten their backs, so that they can give more time in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people who engaged in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they had surpassed the others. Sabaqal mufarridun. Hazrat Wala also speaks that Hazrat Maulana Hakim Akhtar Sahib also has made a wonderful commentary and tashri about this of mufarridun. Now what is tasawwuf? Hazrat Tanvi has mentioned ta'miru dhahir wal batin, that both constructing, putting together, decorating both the external and the internal. Now the external bil a'mal and the internal with akhlaq. وَنَعْنِي بِالْأَخْلَاقِ. And what do we actually mean by akhlaq? مَا هُوَ أَعْمَالُ الْقُلُوبِ. That which is actually pertaining directly to the works or the amals of the heart. Hazrat Gangohi, we speaking about him, this famous malfuz of his, hargiz hargiz itminan ka intizar mein na raho. That don't wait, absolutely, never ever wait for that time, telling yourself that when I'm completely free, then I will carry out my wazaif, my awrad, my dhikr, adhkar. Because that time never comes. Rather, while you standing, sitting, running, doing your chores, carry out in all of this, in all your works, and while you're so busy here in the dunya, carry it out. So Hazrat Mujaddid Saheb, in the Akbari Daur and Zamana, what happened, what type of confusion, what type of adulteration and contamination had come to the deen. But Hazrat Mujaddid Al-Faitani made muqabala of that. He went straight and he took it on, head on, and he removed all those things so that the pure, pristine Islam could then be presented to the people. The man at whose hands such a great khidmat of deen was taken from by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's saying, I have no other desire other than that I can have some free time and I can have a corner of solitude. Now look at that. For what reason? For what maqsad? So that he could make takrar of the kalima tayyiba. In fact, he's coming and the works that he had carried out are so fundamental that has been said to this extent that if it was not for him, then Islam would have not remained in the Indo-Pak subcontinent. So after every mujaddid, there comes that individual who takes that work and completes it, and whatever was left out, he brings that to perfection as well. He says, amongst the malfuzat of Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom, he used to say, मुझे ताज्जुब होता है कि जिसके दिल के अंदर अल्लाह की मोहब्बत नहीं है वो जिंदा कैसा है. In the heart of that individual, wherein there is no love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how is that person actually living? You know, what can I tell you about Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb? We were going with him, I was going with him, the two of us, Hazrat Wala is saying, was sitting in the rickshaw and we were going to this dawat. Nevertheless, from far off, he could see some lights and he says, are we going there? Is there where are we going to eat, etc.? I remained silent for a moment, Hazrat Wala says. And then Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb says, it actually seems that it is there. But listen, my entire life, puri zindagi, I never done this here. Now, why should I spoil this by doing it towards the end of my life? I can't tell you with what a pain he said that. And then he still goes on to say that, listen, if you want to go, feel free to go, you may go. And I said, but Hazrat, if your decision is not to go, then I will not go as well. Many things like this here, Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb practically used to show. I'll tell you something else. On one occasion, Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb was in the hospital for the eye procedure operation that he had to undergo. And then this person, just from the mahalla and in the area there, he comes and he says, Hazrat, koi zarurat hai to batlaiye. If you need anything, let me know. I can't tell you people the answer that he gave. He says that अब तक हमने किसी के सामने हमारी ज़रूरत को पेश नहीं किया. I never ever put my need, presented my need in front of anyone. लेकिन अगर किसी ने खुलूस दिल के साथ दिया तो मैंने कबूल कर लिया. However, if somebody came sincerely and gave something, then I accepted it. Now just look there, and I wanted you to see here that just look at how he taught, what he taught, and what was the ultimate, and together with that there, how he struck the balance and brought it to moderation. In fact, it was one of my daughters, or was it Makbul's walima or something, and the dawat there, it came to that. Even at that occasion, at that juncture, Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Saheb said, I'm coming. But listen, I will not go inside. Can you bring my food, the food here for me? Allahu Akbar. It was Qari Habib or Maulana Habib, one of the celebrated students of Mazahirul Ulum. Now he came and he started speaking or saying, he was saying, what is this fame and big talk of town? Everywhere you go, everyone is speaking about Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib. Listen, what maslak is he? Before I even go and visit him, who is he and what is he about? Nevertheless, somebody asked, Hazrat, what maslak are you of? He said, Main Gangohi hu. That I am a Gangohi. And in that he summed up everything. Now just look at the answer he gave. He didn't even say, I am a Tanvi. But he said, I am a Gangohi. And also we understand from that Hazrat Tanvi made ruju to Hazrat Maulana Gangohi, like how Haji Sahib indicated to him, and that's how it went. You know, people used to go to Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad Sahib, and then just there down the road would be the mazar of Sayyidina Abdul Quddus Gangohi, and they would have urs and this and that and the other. And then he used to tell the people that in the zamana and in these days where they do this urs and all these things, don't come and visit me. Nevertheless, on one occasion, somebody comes and pitches up there. And then he says to this person that, how did you come? And I mean, what's your reason for coming? He says, Hazrat, I have come for you. So he says, don't you know it is the period of this time of the festival of these people, of the urs, etc.? He said, but Hazrat, I've come for you. He said, nevertheless, fine. But when you return, on your way back, from here, right through until you leave this town, every person you pass, you must say to them that I have not come here for the urs. I have come here to visit Maulana. I have not come here for the urs. I have come here for Maulana. Now people even ask, where do you come about with all these waqiyats, Maulana? So I say to them, have you read Amirul Riwayat? Have you read Amirul Riwayat? Read it. You would find the waqiyas and the incidents of our mashayikh and the sirat of our salaf, our akabirin. Miyare ikar baseh shay ast. Kitabullah wa sunnat Rasul wa sirat salaf. The foundation of our matter is quite simple. It can be summed up in three: the Quran, the Hadith, and how that Quran and Hadith was lived. And we see it by the practical example, the seerah and the lives of our mashayikh and our akabirin. Kisi bahut bade aadmi, a very senior person, had mentioned so beautifully that Sahaba ki jamaat kahi chali ja rahi thi, that the jamaat of the Sahaba were proceeding and they were going. Uski ek tukri bach gayi. You know, he says that aisa malum hota hai that it appears such when we look at our mashayikh. They lived their lives so close to Sunnah and so close to that of the Sahaba that it actually seems, and we can come to this conclusion, we'll actually maybe even think it to be this, as if the group of the Sahaba was passing by and some portion of this group got left behind and they came out in the form of our akabirin who are here today. Understand this by means of example to try and show how close our Akabirins' lives, how muttabiya sunnat they were, muttabiya shariat. All of them, ek ke ek, each and every one of them. Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb, Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad Saheb, Hazrat Sheikhul Hind. You know, when I went to Nanota, I spoke to them and I told them about Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb when he took his son Ahmad, Hafiz Ahmad, Mauli Ahmad, and they went on Safar to Moradabad. En route, this thought start gushing into his mind that I've got this young child with me, the son of mine, and then people would want, normally they see a child and they will give this, that or the other. Or sometimes they come and present something to the Sheikh and they would know that the Sheikh would not take this or that or abstinence or zuhud or whatever it was. And then eventually it would land up coming into the hands of the son. So listen, so much ihtiyat and so much precaution he exercised that there and then he sent him back, that you return, I will go on safar on my own. So this is how mutabarrak and how saintly and parsa, the piety, etc. of our mashayikh. Allah Ta'ala bless us with their akhlaq. And Allah Ta'ala make hifazat of our deen. You know, on one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb came and Bhai Saheb was elder than me. I was much younger. He said to Bhai Saheb that go and tell them, or he looked at him and addressed him and he said that what is the nichor? That what it's all summed up in what? It is two things, two qualities. Tawakkul and tawazu. By means of tawakkul, your relationship and your ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will become solid, it will be rectified and it will be made straight. And by means of tawazu, humility, your ta'alluq with fellow people will be straightened out and it will be made correct. That is the hasil that he used to say. These two qualities. Allah Ta'ala bless me with sihat. It is because of you people's barakat that I had said so much. And that Allah Ta'ala gives me the tawfiq to say or share with you some of the things which I have heard from our akabirin. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making amal on the sirat of our salaf. That example that they practically lived and showed to us. Allah bless us with all types, every type of afiyat. And Allah Ta'ala keep us away from bid'at and rusumat, innovations, customs, etc. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.